All right, so today I'm here with Noah Rosen with Viva Ultra Bread, and he is a friend that we made at the farmers market, and our family loves him. He's our first stop at the farmers market. Our boys, they fight over his focaccia bread throughout the entire market, and it keeps him occupied. And so I think he's doing amazing things in Spokane, and so I wanted to have him on the show and basically explain more about what he's doing and his story. And I think it's going to be a real treat. So Noah, I'd love to introduce you and just have you share a few things about yourself and what you do and yeah, what you have going on at the moment.
Okay. Well, first off, thanks for having me on your podcast on episode
Yep.
1001, which is pretty amazing. This will be the first podcast that I've done, so really excited, looking forward to it, and kind of talking about my story here in Spokane and previous. I mean, it does date back some time. I could go all the way back to the beginning, how it all got, how I was inspired to be in the kitchen and around food all the time, to what it led to. So, but we'll start off with Viva Ultra Bread.
Yeah.
Viva Ultra Bread is my sourdough bread company. It's a cottage bakery, and I do it out of my home here in Spokane. I operate on a cottage food permit that's issued by the Washington State Department of Agriculture. And this is my third season, has been my third season here in town. And it's just me. I do everything from, of course, ordering the product, going to pick it up, and the steps following once I bring it home. Being a part of the market system here in Spokane has allowed me to develop a community, not only of customers, but of farmers, which is really important to me, and other, local businesses that are getting, it's a great way to get your foot in the door and be noticed. And yeah, let's see. So sourdough bread, that's my thing.
Yeah.
I have a 10-year-old sourdough culture that I built when I was living in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Um, that's the deal. I mean, yeast is everywhere.
Mhm.
It's just about harnessing it and then utilizing its power to uh, create bread.
Right.
And so, yeah, all right. I think that's a good little starter, don't you?
Yeah, and so my wife and I don't know if you know this, but we used to have an instant drink company where we would basically
Okay.
do what you're doing. We would source ingredients, mix powders together at a commercial kitchen, package them up and sell them. So I'm just kind of curious. I know our experience and how kind of wild it is to do everything from start to finish. How did you just figure it out? Did you start calling suppliers or
Well,
flour mills?
so I guess we can start it kind of at the beginning. I mean, I
Yeah.
am a trained chef who went to culinary school in 1998 in San Francisco. I had before that I had a couple years experience in a restaurant in Bend, Oregon, and which is kind of what you need to be allowed or to be accepted at culinary school. That
Okay.
you've been a part of the industry, where kind of get the gist of what it's all about.
Right.
Um, so one, culinary school, amazing restaurants that I worked in San Francisco in the Napa Valley
Wow.
to, yeah, I mean, I couldn't have asked to walk into a better first kitchen to learn and be a part of while I went to culinary school. I went to culinary school full time, which is 5 days a week, 8 hours a day,
Wow.
to working full time at the restaurant the same time, five days a week, maybe 6 or 7 hours a day, whatever, however worked out with my school schedule. Now the school schedule when you started in the evening. So I was able to come in and learn the basis of the cuisine at this restaurant. It was a restaurant called Jardiniere, run by a woman named Tracy Des Jardin.
No way.
And it was 6 months old when I started there.
Wow.
So
She's an
it had
icon.
opened it. She's an icon. Very fortunate to walk into that kitchen and be accepted and be offered a job, um, and let alone the talent that was already in the kitchen that was a part of the opening team and that came to be a part of it. So if the fish cook was Doug Keene, who owned Cirrus in Healdsburg. The chef de cuisine at the time, who became eventually someone I worked for in later years, named Richard Reddington.
Wow.
I mean, there were so many hitters in that kitchen. It was incredible. People who
Wow.
have started food businesses, people who continued on to become Michelin star chefs throughout the Bay Area. It I couldn't have gotten luckier to walk into that kitchen,
Wow.
and it was harsh. It was a harsh reality. That was during a time where you took it and you accepted it, and you didn't want it to happen again when it was given to you. Um, not there was no HR, and that was fine. It was it was a busy
Or
restaurant.
was that
I
for? Yeah.
mean, the chef was HR basically.
Wow. Yeah, I was
So
gonna ask what that
um,
experience was like because you kind of think of a
it
kitchen
was.
being a brutal place.
Yes, so it was a great. I mean, woman-led kitchen. The team of line cooks and it was a full. They were doing 400 covers a night.
Wow.
So you had you were part of a program, and the line cooks came in at noon. The prep crew was there since 7 o'clock. You watched the product come in, get get the braises started, get the stocks started, do the long-term projects to help everyone succeed in the restaurant. So I was really green when I walked in that kitchen. I had never worked in an environment like that. I worked in a tiny little restaurant in Bend, Oregon, where there was a staff of 5 or 4, basically.
Yeah.
So from going to a staff of 4 or 5 in the kitchen to really what amounted to about 30 people, not on the day. I mean, I could go through it, but yeah, through the day, there's probably 30 people that were employed in that kitchen, and it was built for volume.
Okay.
And it was an incredible setup to see everything be the quality of every plate that walked out of that kitchen. Wow, I mean, inspiring. And yeah, you learn new vegetables, you learn new items, you see dishes that I'd never seen it. I'd never seen food like that. I didn't
Yeah.
grow up going to restaurants. I come from a divorced family who
Mhm.
mom worked. Since my parents split when I was 6, so you kind of learn to fend for yourself. And um, I had an older brother, and we lived on a block that there were other. That was it was a cul-de-sac with kids,
Yeah.
so it was a safe place in the early 80s to grow up. I mean, Cerritos, California is where
Yeah.
I grew up. So don't come from a restaurant family. Well, and it's just what I really enjoyed about it, obviously, was the learning process, but I could do what I wanted during the day. And at that point, that was go
Yeah.
snowboarding every day in
Yeah.
Bend, Oregon, and
Yeah.
work at night. So obviously, those things change as you become more involved in the field and when it becomes your profession and the places that you work at. Very fortunate every step of the way after Jardiniere. I mean, I worked there pretty much all the way through culinary school, and
Yeah.
then did my externship at another restaurant called Izu, which is also in San Francisco, with a chef named Loretta Keller. And well, there was a smaller kitchen, different menu, different style of food, but all of it very ingredient driven. That was
Mhm.
the one thing that was truly instilled in me, was the quality of the product coming in the back door equated what went out into the dining room, and that was the most important thing. Sure, The
Right.
restaurant was beautiful. Wow, what a spot. I mean, it was there for 23 years.
Wow.
And man, it was just a great place to start, and to be involved with and to be a part of its history, really.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I can um, become something that will reflect positively on my time there because it was the beginning for me. Um,
Yeah. What's been that
and yeah,
what's been that driving, driving force? You started in an amazing kitchen, and I don't know what was going through your mind then if you wanted to do that forever, but what was that spark that got you even to go to culinary school or get interested in, food and the craft?
well, I think the spark maybe was, let's see, Jewish grandmother, Lee Rosen. My dad's side of the family is Jewish, in faith. Um, and she was a teacher, and during the summers, the cousins would all go to the grandparents' house down in Carlsbad, North San Diego County.
Yeah.
And well, I was the young one. I was the youngest. And of course, older brother, older cousin had their way with me. And I picked on me. It was, I was definitely the punching bag, to say the least,
Yeah.
of that thing. So maybe my refuse, I don't know if that's the right word, was my safe ground was hanging out with grandma. Obviously, she was in the kitchen cooking for the kids, and I would sit, and then we'd sit and watch Jock and Julia, great chefs of the Midwest, great chefs of the East, on PBS. And I never really thought about that. At that point, I didn't aspire to become a chef. I didn't know what that meant. Like I said, we didn't go out to eat. Sure, we went out to eat every once in a while, but it wasn't. And if you know of anything about Los Angeles in the '80s, in the early, and the Wolfgang Puck, Michael McCarty at
Mm.
Michael's in Santa Monica,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
Patina, so many legendary restaurants and chefs in that time. Well, a single mother couldn't afford to, and that wasn't her thing.
Yeah.
Um, to my first job, working in a grocery store.
Hmm.
Back grocery store was a union job. Um, from bagging groceries to getting promoted to the produce department, I've always been involved in food, and working at that job allowed me to move out of my home after high school. I mean, essentially,
Yeah.
I left home 2 weeks after high school with a great job that people raised families on it during that time.
Yeah.
Um, and it allowed me to you know move out with a friend. And then I moved down to Carlsbad, be close to my grandparents. More than anything, I grew up surfing, and so that being in the ocean, huge part of my life. And moving to Carlsbad,
Yeah. Not too bad.
the ocean's right there. I mean,
Yeah.
my grandparents lived about a mile from the beach, and by the time actually I moved in with them for 6 months, and once I found a place with a buddy of mine, we lived a block and a half from the beach in Carlsbad, California. It was great.
Yeah.
Going to junior college, working at the grocery store, growing up, meeting people, still didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Finished community college, was accepted at like San Francisco State as a. It's funny, I was accepted at San Francisco State as a literature major, and then ended up down the road going to San Francisco to go to culinary school. So, always working around food. The grocery store led to one thing, that the lifestyle of moving to Bend, working in a restaurant, was great for me. I liked it, and it just seemed to fit. So I continued on in the path. I was in Bend for 3 years, so full season passes, a
Oh,
lot
no.
of powder, a lot of snowboarding, a lot of growing up, a
Yep.
lot of, and and yeah, just meeting people. And so I guess, getting close to that end of that third season, I kind of was like, well, I'm not going to be a pro snowboarder. And
Fortunately.
so what else do you enjoy? And I enjoyed this lifestyle of working in restaurants. So I got my program ready to go to culinary school. And one thing led to another. Found a place in the city, living with this older couple, and that used to rent out rooms to kids that went to High School of the Arts in San Francisco.
Wow.
Those people are still in my life. I
Wow.
still communicate with those people 25 plus years later.
Wow.
Um, and they rented me a room in their house, and I didn't know. I mean, what did I know? I moved into their place. I didn't know anything about the restaurant world in San Francisco. All I knew is I was going to culinary school. They had this, I think it was like the Chronicles 100 Best Restaurants,
Hmm.
the leaflet in
Oh yeah.
newspaper, and
Yep.
I picked spots to go drop off my little resume. Most people didn't want to talk to me because I was not enrolled. I wasn't hadn't started culinary school. I wasn't, but for some reason, Jardinier was like, "So, all right, well." I was like, I walked in the back door. I'm like, hey, I want to talk to someone about setting up what they call a stage. And
Oh yeah.
I knew that you want to
Yeah.
set up a trial day for them to see you, for you to see them.
Right.
I walked in the back door, and this woman, her name's Allison, was like, all right, where are your knives? You ready to go? Your stage today? I was like, I haven't even gotten my tools from culinary school. That's how
Yeah.
green I was.
Wow.
So she was like, "All right, well, let's get it set up for next week. Once you get your knives, you'll come in, you'll work the day, and then you'll see what service is like." Man, it was awe inspiring. The team,
Good on.
the the way every plate looked, it was pro. I mean, this is pro. This
Yeah.
is big time restaurants, and once I saw that, I knew that it was for me.
Yeah.
I saw the way the team interacted with each other, the quality of the craftsmanship behind the food, also what the plates look like. I mean, you want to walk into a restaurant, into a kitchen, could no tongs,
Yeah.
not one set of tongs in that kitchen. That is not how things are done at that level.
Why is that?
Um, and
What happens instead?
it's
Uh
all about cooking with spoons. You
okay.
have a spoon collection.
Yeah.
Um, and it's gentle on the food. I know a lot of people these days use tweezers or whatever it is.
Yep.
That's not, however you make it. That's almost the same as a tong. It pinches the food. It whatever. This was the one word that rang true within that kitchen. It's a French word. It means it's soigner, and it's like style. It's in
Mm.
everything you do. It's sort of like the force. Soigner is the force of
Yeah.
cooking. How to put care into everything you do and to not damage the product.
Yeah.
And I became so engrossed in that. And even though going to culinary school, and believe me, I used to get ready to leave, and I had future Michelin starred chefs say to me, quit culinary school right now, save all that money, spend it on a year in Europe, spend it
Yeah.
on your year. There's no reason for you to continue on because
That
you
is
are
cool.
here. And that's why people go to culinary school, is to get the position that you're in.
Wow.
So, but, definitely focused on and determined on completing a task and finishing a form of education. So I stuck it out, even though along the way, I'll be honest with you, I failed a class,
Mm.
um, because, well, I was the first thing we did in that class. He would lecture, and I would fall asleep right in front of him, because not only was I working in a restaurant
Yeah.
the whole morning shift, but of course, I wanted to spend time with the people I worked with. It was definitely camaraderie. So I'd go out with them,
Mm-hmm.
um,
After
and
service,
all
just some.
those things. That's what. Oh, for sure. Go out. There was a great place that we used to go around the corner. It was called Absinthe. Go get drinks, or go to
Yep.
places in the Mission with the chef, well, Chef Richard, not Chef Tracy, but and go get drinks. And I'm 25, and it was the restaurant culture there is huge, and you get to meet people from other restaurants. You become a part of that. Where you're from. It was important to do that. In actuality, failing that class worked out great for me because I was in a class before that no one worked. I was
Mm,
the only one. And I actually had a lot of teachers say to me, "Don't worry about it. No, you're fine. You're already there.
yeah.
Just do the work. Don't worry about becoming valedictorian. You
Yeah.
are just complete the task and you will continue to move forward." I failed that class and it dropped me back into a class with five guys that I am still in contact with on the
Yeah.
regular, that are still in the business, different facets of the business, from one guy being a private chef for a billionaire couple that
Wow.
owns a huge, huge makeup company, to a buddy of mine that opened places in Portland. One of the other guys owns places in Houston.
Mm,
Another one is running this very popular restaurant in the North Bay, in Marin, and so we're all involved in it still. And really, that's why I went to culinary school, was to form those relationships with those people,
right.
because that was worth every penny.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. It's good
uh,
to have community in what you're doing. And I'm also kind of curious too, like have you put as much effort into like the community in Spokane, or had time to do that? Or how's that going too? I know you said you have some market community, and what's that look like here?
well, so when my wife and I moved here in April of 2021, so still remnants of the pandemic. I mean, really, still going on. Nothing was finished yet, and we weren't out of it. So,
Well, what brought
really, that
first
community. What's that?
first I think we should start.
What was that?
What brought you to Spokane?
So Spokane. My wife's parents had been here for a few years at the time, and my wife's a registered nurse, so that first year of the pandemic, I think, kind of broke her. And she was working in an urgent care, and she kind of, and also, being an 18-year nurse, she was maybe ready for a break and to take a
Yeah.
step back and, kind of explore other things. She did that throughout the years, working in different facets of the hospital. She worked for St. John's and for Cedars in the LA area. But she also worked for an ear, nose, and throat doctor. And she, at that same time, went back to school to get her, her BSN and complete her education, formal education. So, but also we wanted to become homeowners. Me at the time of us leaving, I was private chef. I've been private chefing for 10 years for
Okay.
two houses.
Wow.
I mean, the best job I've ever. Honestly, I thought I was doing that for the rest of. I thought that was it. I was
Yeah.
like, this
Yeah.
is a great gig, complete creative freedom. I was shopping at the Santa Monica Farmers Market twice a week.
Wow. Oh. Um. Sorry, I lost you. I lost your sound. Oh.
I'm
Yeah.
coming. I'm
Okay.
back.
You were shopping twice a week.
Okay, so back to, yeah, so farmers market twice a week. But also I had there's great grocery stores there with very high end product. So I had all of my markets picked out that I would shop at for things. But also about halfway through my tenure, Italy opened up. I don't know if you know anything about Italy
Uh-uh.
markets. So there's one in New York, originally started, I think, in Rome, or the it's a good, but the quality of the product, the quality of the fish, the quality of the proteins, be it chicken, meat, pork, all of those things were of the highest quality that I could buy at a small quantity.
Right. Okay.
Um, I didn't really have a budget. I wasn't going to be extravagant about spending their money.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did, all the fruits and vegetables coming from the Santa Monica Farmers Market, and then I'm looking to buy the best quality fish. And I built relationships before that because I ran restaurants in LA. So if I
Mm-hmm.
needed to get some particular thing from a fish purveyor, I was going to the best place.
Right.
Um, Same thing with me. I knew where to get it. I had all of those things. My shopping needs were there. So when we decided to move, obviously there were other factors that we wanted. We couldn't afford to buy a home in Santa Monica. We also
That's
didn't want to buy a home in Riverside and commute.
yeah.
Um, we both worked about 15 minutes from, city streets to where we both worked. So,
Mm-hmm.
I worked in what I called them the Brentwood Hills. And wow, the homes that were there, the people that I worked for, um, and they built a new home up the street from where they lived. That was this incredible place. But still, I was involved in two homes each 2 days a week,
Mm-hmm.
and I watched kids grow up. I watched teenagers become adults. I watch little kids become teenagers.
Yeah.
So all of those things. Aside of those experiences with those families, which were wonderful, we wanted to be homeowners. It was important to us.
Yeah.
Be it
Spokane can
how
offer.
my wife was raised.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Spokane
the
just
opportunity
has
was here
more bang for your buck, especially
for
with the
sure,
real estate market.
for
Me
sure.
being a realtor, I'm like, we have a very good, we have opportunity for people moving out of markets that they almost seem unattainable for a lot of people because the homes are so expensive.
Yes. So we moved here. Naomi already had a job. I did some research to maybe try to find a private chef gig, but I didn't really see any sort of uh, services that would connect me to that. And I didn't know it. Moving here, I didn't know anybody. So
Yeah.
um, Viva Ultra Bread had started during the pandemic. So being a private chef, once the pandemic started, nobody else. Before the pandemic, super side hustle.
Yeah.
I was this group's private chef, so I formed relationships with the people I worked for as friends. Not everybody had a chef,
Yeah.
so when they wanted to have a dinner party, they when this walks in your door and they already knew what the food about was about,
Right.
I presented quality and integrity, and I had the side hustle was major for me.
So would you
Um,
do like
so
dinners or parties or events like
dinners,
what would you
mostly
do?
it was like just people would have, you know, two other couples over, so it'd be
Mm.
six people,
Yeah.
or maybe it was up to 10, or there was another couple that I used to do things up to 20 people, and it would be more of a buffet situation, um, where big bowls of beautiful produce and meats and fish, just they all had beautiful things to put the food on, which is nice.
Right.
um, so that also makes things, and looking where I've come from, the restaurants that I ran, I was very adept and very comfortable of creating food hyper seasonally, So they were always getting something different from me, be it, I mean, how many different kinds of vegetables are there, right? So,
Yeah.
and I'm not serving you asparagus in the wintertime, and
Yeah.
I'm not serving you tomato in the wintertime. Although all those things are available, that's not how the body wants to eat. So,
Yeah.
and
Seasonal.
those were the things that were instilled in me at that first restaurant and all the restaurants that I worked at through my
Wow.
years coming up. So, Spokane, we came and visited for a few days. And when we rolled out of town, Amy's like, "What do you think about moving here?" And I was like, "Okay, let's do it." You know, we moved to LA on my sort of thought. Let's move to LA. My family's sort of close. Okay, cool. She had this idea to move here to take the opportunities that are available here, and it's worked out. So we arrive. I get the home. We rented a townhome in the River Run, so right off Government Way,
Nice.
and I pull out the starter and get the house settled. Pull out the starter. It's been in the fridge, and I just start baking. I of course brought grain. I brought flour. I brought everything prepared to
Yeah.
start. So I started baking, but I also used Instagram as a way to meet people and befriend people. So I reached out, explored the food culture of Spokane,
Yeah.
looked for other cottage bakers here in town, and I met people and brought them my bread. So the first few people I met in town were Jeff from Edible Inland Washington.
Oh, cool.
He runs that food magazine here in town.
Nice.
There's a lot of edibles all over the country. So I reached out to him. He's like, let's meet. I reached out to another cottage baker. Her name is Stacy, and she is the lucky lady baker in here in town.
Oh, yeah.
And when we
I can't know
met,
yours, right?
yeah, we're,
Yeah.
when we met, the food photographer of Spokane, I believe her name is Ari, joined because they're all friends.
Cool.
So right away, I met people. I'm fifth at the time. I'm 48. I'm not shy anymore. I want to meet people. I want to start those community builds. And so I brought them bread. Next thing you know, I get a call from Kim at the Wonder Building. She's like, "Do you want to be a part of our market?"
Oh,
I
nice.
believe it was a Sunday market, I believe,
That's a great spot.
and a great spot, great way to start meeting farmers that were there and other small business people. And so I said, well, I just gotten all my applications in for my cottage food permit. She's like, okay, finish it up. I'm going to make a call for you.
Hmm.
So within 6 days, what normally takes 6 to 8 weeks, I had a
Oh,
cottage food permit in hand. So
that
it helps to meet people and
definitely.
to present them with bread, of course, at that first initial meeting. And and that one thing, once you're at one market here in town, you get calls.
Hmm.
And because there aren't a lot of bread makers, sourdough bread makers, who are doing things, and they all understood what I was doing, and that was local product, grain from the Palouse,
Yeah.
flour from the Skagit, but also it's all about the product. So this is where that first restaurant job in San Francisco instilled in me the most important thing about cooking is the quality of your product and where it's coming from,
Mhm.
and making sure that it's as local. I mean, all those words are very food, right? Local, da 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 da. They've all got these sort of names. It doesn't necessarily need to be organic. I don't use any labeled organic grain.
Yeah.
That farmer that I buy my grain from, Palouse Heritage, sustainable. They're stewards of the land. They don't spray their fields with poison, Roundup. That's
Right.
poison. Um, it's all heritage wheat. So the flour that I'm getting from Karen Springs Mills in the Skagit, they are buying wheat from the same type of farmers as Palouse Heritage. So I knew exactly what I wanted, how to get it. I contacted Karen Springs Mills at the beginning. They said, we have one wholesale operator in town,
Mm.
Charlie's Produce. Right?
Okay.
Call them up. They have a will call window. Great. All right. Started buying stuff, started getting my flour. Because there's no way I could pay shipping
Oh
from
yeah.
Karen. It's basically the cost of a 50-pound bag of flour costs $50 in shipping,
Yeah.
basically. So, yeah. So from being a chef, I knew how to do all that stuff. I know how to talk to salespeople. I set up restaurants. I opened up restaurants in LA. Interacted with I was doing all the ordering, aside of creating all the food at restaurants that I was the chef at.
Yeah.
So all of that stuff I already knew how to do and how to get set up.
Right.
So
How to protect your margin
that first
and
season,
yeah, be a
yeah,
profitable
all that
business.
stuff. I know what food cost is.
Yep.
Yeah, it's food cost, but also I started this business from home in an electric oven, baking
Yeah.
4 loaves at a time the day before the market because I would try to bring 40 loaves, right? 40
Wow.
loaves, that's 10 hours of baking,
Wow.
right? So, but
Yeah.
I knew I would get out of that. I knew I had an oven on order,
Mm.
but supply chain issues, right? So I
Yeah.
like to say it was the tanker in the Suez Canal that held up my oven. And
Yeah.
when it
Yeah.
finally came at the end of that first season, I could produce everything the day of the market. Although it was at the end of the market season,
Yeah. So good.
I could start to work towards something. Yeah, felt great. I got invited to a winter market, which kept those early customers. They knew where to find me. I had a website, created the website, a Squarespace site. So all those things I was able to keep those people in the loop. And then, the next season comes around. The second season, I did 4 markets.
Wow.
So that was heavy.
That's a lot of
So
work.
you're looking at 160 loaves a week,
Wow.
plus some of the other art items that I started to involve bagels, the focaccia. That
Yeah.
came, kind of toward the end of the second season. The cardamom knots. So everything is naturally leavened. So that means everything is sourdough. So yeah, it just became this thing that was easy for me to become involved with because I knew how to do it already. I knew how to order. I know how to multitask. I mean, I am executing at a high efficiency rate with what
Right.
I'm doing. I
Right.
know what I know what it takes to multitask, to build one day, bake the next, get it all set up, get the car packed, drive to the market, unpack, set up the canopy,
That's
sell the
a
product.
lot of
And as
work.
you know, Reed, when you come to the market, if you don't come early enough, there's nothing left.
That's we rush to the market and that's why you're our first stop. Because we're like, we didn't order
Yeah.
ahead of
So
time. There better be bread at Noah's table. And so we always get excited and we have to buy loaves. Yesterday I was just telling my wife, I'm like, is it Tuesday yet? Like, we need more bread. It doesn't last in our house. It's so good.
it's a
Yeah.
oh, thank you so much. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
put a lot of love into it, a lot of pride, as you can tell from how I was raised within the restaurant industry. That it's passion.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long, hard road, and I've had
Yeah.
some hard times. Being a chef in a restaurant, never my restaurant, working for people. Their whims change. I'm younger, kind of, not afraid to speak my mind, a little bit of I had a lot of pressure on me. We were doing big numbers like that first restaurant that I worked at in culinary school. It was a
Yeah.
big restaurant. We do 400 covers a night when I'm running the show,
Wow.
touching every plate. So, um, and watching someone get all the credit for the food that I've created. That was harsh.
I would
And it
imagine.
was before Instagram. It was before social media.
Yeah.
So, it's hard to get my name out there in LA because someone else got all the glory for all the work that I did. That was brutal.
Right. That would be very challenging, especially knowing that your hand was, over a lot of it. Okay, so Viva Ultra right now is 3 years old. What do you see for the future of Viva Ultra or Noah? Because I've looked at your Instagram and the food you cook is outstanding, and you can tell that that has carried over your early experiences because the ingredients that you're using are top quality and the food just looks so fresh and bright and yeah, I'm just kind of curious what's your plan.
What's next? What's next? What am I working on? So, obviously, tried to, I'm looking for a restaurant space. Viva Ultra is primed to have many facets, not just the bread, not just the sourdough bread. That me creating what I create here, the bread. This is setting the groundwork of quality here in Spokane with this
Hmm.
product. I show no compromise in what I get. The product that I'm selling is of the best quality, and it's
Hmm.
starting to be recognized. People are starting to get it, and it helped. I had my first piece of
Oh yeah.
ink, really, you could say, in the Inlander about 2 months back, full page kind of write up, along with the other sourdough bread makers here in town. They profiled five of us, I guess you could say. So it was felt great to be involved with that. So people have noticed, taken notice into what I've done. But I know what I want. I can't continue to operate from my home kitchen.
Mm.
I have a lot to say. I have a lot of food, as you've done your research through my
Yeah.
other Instagram account called Figs and Confit, which dates back about into all my private chefing. Basically, I used to
Yeah.
post all the dishes I was creating um, in my
There's so
clients'
many.
homes. They didn't care.
Yeah, my
So
thumb's
many.
tired from scrolling. I'm like, I'm gonna get to the earliest photos, and it's just been 10 plus years of Instagram posts and seeing what you can come up with. And um, I mean, I would love to
So
go to a restaurant
I
by
would,
Noah.
well, as good as you think the bread is, I'm not trying to be filled with ego. The food is better. The
Yeah.
the 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 experience, the confidence in that facet of this trade is tenfold to what I'm doing now. I still have so much to learn about, so much to do with. I'd consider myself still a just wouldn't consider myself a baker. I mean, yes, I can
Right.
bake bread. I can do some things. I can create desserts. Of course, being a private chef, you have to be well rounded.
Right.
The bread thing just became another um, technique that I can draw inspiration from, and that helps to build my food
Mm-hmm.
and the stylings of it, and the flavor profile and the craftsmanship of it. I reached out. I've looked at spaces here in town. I think I may have formed a partnership with someone that will eventually help me
Cool.
raise money.
Nice.
Um, and so it's the thing with finding a spot really here in town. It has to do with finding a space that has a type, I believe it's called a type 1 hood system that I
Mm.
can have gas burners in. A lot of the systems that are here in town, it's type 2, so you can't have open flames, right?
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Right.
So that's the thing. I would love to have a space that is wood fired everything.
Wow.
Um, and
Wow. That
but
just
also of course baking bread along with the program. So uh, and utilizing all of the product that's here grown locally. Obviously, it's a short growing season here, 6 months, but the produce companies have great quality product and their stuff still grown on the coast. You know, people need citrus in their diet. They need avocados. They need bright, truly seasonal cooking. That's the goal, is to Viva Ultra Bread. It's the name. It would the name is going to be Viva Ultra Bread and Wine.
Ooh,
So
two of my favorite
bread will
words.
be available there, but yeah, but also the food will be there. So that's the next step, is to find a location. I've built a community of followers and I think potential supporters of that vision of having a restaurant. I've started to meet other culinarians here, people that I want to be involved with my future and I want to be involved with their future,
Cool.
because they see what I've created so far. They've tasted what I've created so far. So, it's about building that community, all sorts of communities, from be it the market community, the customers, but also finding people that I want to include in the growth of Viva Ultra. Because if people are inspired by, let's say we start making Neapolitan style pizza, we got to figure out, hey, maybe we can start a mozzarella company. Maybe we
Yeah.
can, start doing frozen pizzas. Someone's going to take hold of that, take the reins of it. I want to build other people's futures, not just mine here. There's a lot of opportunity to create and support the community here. People that are farmers, ranchers, grow beautiful product.
Hmm.
So that's the essence of what Viva Ultra will be. We'll try to be as local as possible and as seasonal as possible. And this is about creating luscious food. I've already done, food where you kind of put microgreens on the plate or whatever. That doesn't work anymore for me. It's about flavor. That's the most important thing. People
Yeah.
also want to feel like they're getting their money's worth. That comes from the quality of the product.
Hmm.
Beautiful vegetables are as important as anything. So, yeah, we work towards those things, and I'm building everything from scratch daily. I mean, so I
Yeah.
built it 3 days a week. I'm going to continue to do that. I'm not coming with a family that is ready to financially back my venture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, that
It's
happens a lot within the restaurant community. There's a
right.
lot of families that get involved in their kids' businesses, and my family is not like that. So that's why I went to the markets, started the business there. I chose particular markets
I mean,
because
it's
I knew
brilliant.
I would.
Yeah. What you're doing is brilliant to me because you're showing up to the markets, you're getting exposure, people are getting to know Noah and the quality that you produce, at a high level, and they're just already getting to know you, and so that makes it not only easier to get partners or investors, but also you already have your clientele, because like for my wife and I, if you start a restaurant, I don't even have to ask, is it going to be good? Is it going to use high quality ingredients? Is it going to be consistent? We've already seen that for the past few years, And so I think it's a really good strategy, whether you thought about that or not, but it's brilliant. And it just seems like you're such a connector, with people, and you can be tossed into a community and just make friends and get to work.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'm not shy anymore. I want to build something here that will last, that will help other people's business, help the farmers in the area being able to buy a lot of their product, but also the ranchers in the area and people that are growing animals, and that's the most important thing to me. So I really want to, obviously, it's one step at a time. I don't I don't want anything to go too fast. I don't want one facet to I don't want to open like 5 places in whatever, however many years. It's all about building the team first. When I find a space, is to build a team, let them know that this is a collaborative environment, that
Hmm.
this is a place that you can shine, that I can help guide, that we can influence each other, inspire one another to create beautiful food and also create a beautiful environment for people to come eat at, that people want to come eat it once or twice a week. I mean, that's what it's about. That's how places succeed.
Absolutely.
Um, and what better way to have started that was through the market system. I didn't know that. I mean, I thought, well, when I started this kit, we'll see if we can build this bread company. Maybe it turned into a wholesale bread operation. That's still part of it.
Go all
But the
brand.
desire, yeah, yeah, little, definitely inspired by that. Definitely always inspired by my LA roots and
Yeah.
what I saw
Nancy.
transpire there through the years. Nancy Silverton. Well, then you have Campanile, the restaurant that was
Mhm.
created, that the bread was out of.
Wow.
Um, there's a lot of history, a lot of legends in LA that I got to meet and interact with and eat at. Wow, I mean, what a culture of food. So I know that there's a culture of food here. Um, I think I have a different take on it. I think I have a more personal take on it. I think that it's truly possible to create a seasonal, very inland Pacific Northwest cuisine.
Yeah.
Obviously, I love seafood. Can get all those things from the coast.
Yep.
Incredible product, but it's got to come from the right places. So, yeah, there's I go through a lot of ups and downs with this process. Um, Uninspired, harsh realities. Wintertime is not very friendly, with there being
Yeah.
really no market. So how
Yeah.
do I continue on? Last winter was a hard winter for me. This winter, I will continue to bake every Friday. So get those orders in by Wednesday night at 8. I
Okay.
will build on Thursday, bake on Friday. The north side, Infused Wellness, will be your pickup spot.
Beautiful.
South side, people will be coming to my house to pick up bread, which they
Great.
did last year. It was great. So it
Yeah.
kept me doing it, but also maybe not enough time spent outside. So season pass at 49 is
Yeah.
already within is in my hands. Let's just say
Oh,
that. So
beautiful.
that's another
Beautiful.
one of my passions is snowboarding and being outside, and I need to get that fresh air in me
Yeah.
to keep my brain alive, keep my body alive, keep me alive. I mean, um, season SADS is real, and I went
Yeah.
through it last winter.
Yeah.
Like I said, I spent time in Bend before, but I was going snowboarding every day, so that was the life. It
Yeah.
wasn't focus on the business, stress about it. I want to become the provider within my family, this family of my wife and I, like I used to do. And we'll get there. It's just going to take time. But yeah, I think it's headed in a great direction. And it's just really the next step is to find a spot, get it worked out, form the business plan off that spot, look for investors, sell shares, nothing too big, so no one has too much of an input,
Yeah, this is your shot. This is
because
your
that's not what I'm looking for.
you want the direction, you want the creative direction. This is your baby. Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
my gift. I'm the pro. Let me do that. I'm here to make you money, and I've made plenty of people a lot of money through the years running their restaurants and with all of the points in order and all of the food, all of the costs in order for those businesses to make a lot of money. Yeah,
So
we'll get there.
yeah, no, I'm excited for you. I'm really excited to see how that goes. And uh, I know it's probably tricky finding a commercial space that fits the criteria and is in a location that you want. But I'm hoping that you find it soon because I know the process will take a little bit. And um, yeah, I'm excited to see the menu, and I can kind of get a feel and a taste of what it's going to be. But definitely excited to have another fun place to go to.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm driven and passionate about it. Um, Someplace that you know, like I said, I want to create a place that people want to come and eat at a couple times a week. Not everybody likes to cook at home,
Yeah,
and if they like the environment that we've created, the staff that's there, they feel the hospitality is the number one goal, along
yeah,
with the food, run goals, all those things that matter the most. Um, let's get that first place started. Then we go from there.
yeah.
We
Experience driven. I think that speaks volumes. And you just know when
and
you go to a place. My wife and I, we visited Seattle and went to Canlis, and like it's just different, and it's an experience, and you talk about it, and it's just unlike anywhere else we've been, and so I think restaurants around here, when the people make you feel a certain way and you have a different experience, it's easy to come back for more.
yes. So my goal isn't to create a fine dining restaurant. My goal is to create like I said, a place that you can come and eat at a couple times a week.
Yeah,
Hopefully, it can be an all day sort of thing because
cool.
we have bagels, we have our beautiful bread that is toast. Believe
Yep.
me, I have a sourdough pizza recipe. But also the beautiful product that's here, big beautiful salads and nutrition is key to me.
Yep.
Um, and value. It's there. It can happen
Hmm.
by getting quality at a price that people they see the quality. They're more than happy to pay for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll go. We take it one step at a time. Right now, I can continue to do this Viva Ultra Bread from home, essentially, for as long as I want.
Yeah.
But my drive, my passion is to be Chef Noah again. That's the goal, is to be. And I know that sounds funny to call yourself Chef Noah, but that's what
It's great.
it was for many, many years. I don't necessarily lead the chef's coat. I think I've left that in the past. Just give me a blue apron and
Yep.
a black T-shirt, and give my team everything. All gonna look. Can all be on the same program, and but keep it professional. Keep them learning. Keep them inspired. Keep them thinking and with their ideas to contribute, because that keeps a staff inspired. Um, and my there's a lot of places that are very similar here in town, and that's what I want to move away from. It's not about
Mm.
pub grub.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah,
That's
you got your own
really where
flair.
I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That makes sense. But okay, before I let you go, how can people
yeah.
reach out to you, find you, see what you're doing, and order bread from Viva Ultra?
Well, as we come to the end of the market season, so currently still at 3 markets a week. Tuesday, the Fairwood Farmers Market, which has a couple markets, like 3 more markets left, I believe.
Okay.
But I'm also at the Thursday market in the South Perry. You
Mm.
can come see me there from 3 to 7 every Thursday till the end of October. And then also the Spokane Farmers Market, which is Saturday morning. It's
Okay.
in Coeur d'Alene Park in the Browns edition. That also runs till the last week of October. And then the website, vivaultrabread.com, you can pre-order and choose your pickup location. Once the markets come to an end, there will be a little break in bread service, as the wife and I are planning a 10-day adventure to Mexico City to eat and explore,
Nice.
and just kind of, be on vacation. It will be the first vacation we've been on in 3 years since moving here,
Nice.
for an extended period of time. But once I come back, I will be baking every Friday through the winter, so
Okay.
they will be fully explained on the website. Also, I have quite an email list, so you can sign up for the email list at one of the markets, and then you'll be added to my contact list. I call them VUB supporters, Viva Ultra Bread supporters,
Yeah.
and uh, yeah, they are the backbone of the business because they order through the
Right.
winter,
Right.
and then they. I've got an alleyway next to my home. You'll come pick up your bread Friday afternoon. Text me. I'll bring
Nice.
you bread. You drive down the alleyway. It's a great little system. It's sort of a as
So Brett,
covertly bread deal
yeah,
in the
yeah.
so
I love
um,
it.
yeah. So I'm going to continue to bake all winter long, and hopefully during the winter, one more step at a time to find that spot to create the plan and to get that plan into people's hands that want to facilitate that plan and see it come to fruition. Those are the things that are my goals this winter is to build that group of people who believe in my process and what I'm going to create here. So if I can find the spot, we can make it happen.
Absolutely. Oh, I love it. Well, thank you, Noah. I really appreciate giving me your time, coming on to chat, learning more about your story. It's so cool. And I love what you're
Uh,
doing in Spokane.
Thank you so much, Reed. It's been a great to for you to be involved, to be a supporter, a VUB supporter,
Oh, yeah.
and love what I make. And but also I see how you support the farmers with your CSA box at
Hmm.
Renegade Farms. It's amazing that that's
Yeah.
what the community needs is for you support the farmers markets, which are, you know, all food based mostly. Obviously, there's other things you can buy there, knickknacks and whatnot. But it's about getting farm fresh produce that's from the local community. So you're now part of that community. You're part of my community, you and your family, and
Mhm.
that means the world to me. And that bodes well for the future.
Yeah.
Is a community filled with people that love food, that love this community, and want to see it flourish and grow in all of its avenues to make it a better place for everyone to live and to eat and to
Yeah.
have a good time in because that's what it's about. So that's life.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a great place. I love the market and we love supporting and yeah, it's fantastic place to know who's making your bread, know who's, farming and providing the produce. It's pretty impressive. So we're happy to be there.
Yes, cool, Reed. Well, thanks for having me be on episode 001.
Woo.
I'm sure
Yes.
there's many more to come. I look
Yep.
forward to seeing your other inspired people here in town that are building things like I am. And I'm really humbled by you asking me to be a part of this and look forward to. I mean, this is the beginning of our relationship. We've
Yep.
already done that, but we're both here for the long haul, and that equates us growing old together. And that's what
Yeah.
I want to do with the community is grow old and feed people's families as they grow and be a part of their special celebrations or their nightly or their weekly dinner out
Yep.
and come and see me and the family that I'm creating in the restaurant staff be taken care of, be treated well, be fed well. I mean, those are
Hmm.
important things in life. So I feel I'm humbled that you think that I've got something valuable to say here.